use on YouTube, so why not use this? For the past few days, I couldn't record this. What do you say? Maybe series, nonsense talks. And the other day, I was sitting down with my friend, not my friend, by the way, my cousin. He can be a friend as well. I was talking to him about psychology. I always do like nonsense talks here, and there was like I was trying to explain him what psychology really is, and I figured out, why can't I do this on my nonsense talks? Okay, and it will give me uh, tons of experience to talk about psychology, and my narrative about psychology and the psychological concepts will get updated, and then my understanding will improve. So why not? So today, all what I'm going to talk about is going to be psychology. All I would know, all what I know about psychology, bits of pieces, small bits of pieces. It's all going to be psychology. I am afraid, by the way, that I say something wrong in here, and then it's like not acceptable in the field of psychology. I'm afraid, by the way, but without showing you my work, I won't be able to move further. So today, I was sitting down with my brother Howard. He's a developer in Lahore, and he's a good guy, intelligent. I learned a lot of things from him. He was one of my inspirations growing up. So we talked about many things, and he's a university graduate, so he had all those like experience and what to do in university. I am a madrasa student, plus they offer me education of like West, so it's open field for me. So I thought like, yes man, I want to study in university. Tell me about things in university and how I can reverse engineer stuff, because I love reverse engineering, like going to the destination and then reverse back, like what it looks like. So he talked about that. So from there, the idea was actually strong. It got more strength, and now I'm sitting here. So today we're going to be talking about psychological concepts, and let's see where this series goes. Psychology. Mainly problem with psychology is that it's been studied for a while. People throughout the generations were really interested in human nature and human psychology. They would have called it something different, but they were really interested. 5,000 years, there's record. Almost 5,000 years ago, people would puncture the skull and would remove a part of the brain and say that there were spirits in that part, and now as we have removed the part of the brain, now the demons will be removed. My goodness, man, tough procedure. Brain is a delicate piece of like, it's a very delicate organ, so you cannot play with it. That also indicates that the surgeons who were doing these sort of things were highly skilled. Anyways, so the study of human nature on a mental and behavior level is not new. People were interested in it. People will remain interested in it, and they are certainly right now. So do I. I love psychology. So in the beginning, these are the things, and philosophy has contributed a lot in terms of increasing the progress of any field. Science is philosophy based thing. Philosophers in Greek era used to study these sort of concepts. What is nature? What these are? The concept of Adam, it came almost like 400 years before Jesus Christ. So peace be upon him. So these concepts are not new. But things happening in terms of psychology, what happened that the past few decades, or I would say 2 centuries, really like this field exploded. Multiple disciplines and new psychologists who proposed theories about stuff, and the field exploded, and now it is considered to be a science than philosophy, and it has a specific science, neuroscience, completely a game changer, man. It gave us like the depth of the brain from a physical perspective, from biological perspective. Anyway, so psychology mainly studies, there are branches within psychology, but I would say that there are almost like 20 to 25 things that are being studied in psychology. So I would try to name them so that I can, I know that what things I'm talking about. So first of all, in psychology courses, they introduce you to with psychology. Okay, so this is like one thing, psychology. Then they talk about psychological research, which is a research method. How would something be concluded? How will something be considered psychologically checked? Expert opinion. Thirdly, they will talk about now a little bit into psychology, neuroscience and behavior, in which you will study central and peripheral nervous system, but almost like all about biology, in terms of what biology does contributes in terms of behavior. Then they talk about multiple other things, state of consciousness, personality development, social psychology is something, memory, cognition, language. So these are like, to name a few. They will talk about this. I've been studying psychology now maybe 1 year. Yes, you can, maybe less than 1 year. And I think I have gained a lot of knowledge in terms of what I believe is a lot of knowledge. So right now I'm going to throw all that knowledge in the camera so that I can learn more. I can find my boundaries and then fix my boundaries. So we'll start with research method in psychology. Let's see what I know about it. There is a concept called intuition speculation. I think that this worked for me. These are concepts that revolve throughout the generations. People who are unable to read psychological literature will develop psychological techniques without knowing the names of the techniques. Okay. What psychology does is it labels stuff. It really tells you what things are scientifically or evidence based and what are just based on speculation and intuition. One thing might work for someone and it may not work for the other person. So you won't take one technique and that work for someone in certain environment and apply that to something big in other fields, other people. So what they do is they research, and they would collect data. They will do empirical studies. There are like different types of studies they do, and then they conclude it. They tell you that the study is based on multi dimensions. It's not just one thing. It had more dimensions to it. I'm feeling restless. So I think it's... So in psychological research, what to do? Like a normal person, they are curious. They would ask a question. Hey, why we don't forget how to drive a car? Good question. Okay. They would now, if a person has this question, he would look into clinical literature based on the question. And many people before this guy even thought about it had researched on it. There's no point in reinventing the wheel, so he would go and study. Now there will be small, tiny questions that still need some answer, or the data is not enough to conclude it on a general population. So what they do? He would say that, okay, this is the question. Let's pose this question. This is the first thing. There is very little data and very little research on this particular topic. Let's take this question. And when they take this question, they would say, okay, now what's the existing literature on it? And they would control that. Then they will provide, and sorry, in the second step, they would say, this is my hypothesis. I think this is the reason why this is happening. Then they will research in existing scientific literature. They'll do more experiments and will conclude something new and contribute that to the scientific community, where the other scientists can easily test their theories. This is like 4 steps: question, hypothesis, then research, and then conclusion given to the scientific community. I give you an example of it. There happened a murder. People didn't came to help the victim. From there, very interesting thing in psychology emerged. We call it diffusion of responsibility. What it is. So scientists, psychologists thought that the more people present on a site, a criminal site, the less they feel responsible for helping the victim. Now, this was the question, like why didn't people help the victim? Then scientists, they hypothesized it's because there were a lot of people and that responsibility diffused among the population. They hypothesized this and then tested it. After conclusions, they sent it to the other psychologists, and some people conducted the same studies and they concluded the same. This is how psychology works. In psychological research, the problem is that you cannot do everything with humans, so they collect data from other animals, which is sometimes acceptable, sometimes not acceptable. Okay, so this is all about like scientific research. I am done. Bye.